Hello, scumbags, and welcome to another episode of the Rebel Scum podcast. I'm James, joined along with
Brock.
And this, as we said, is the Rebel Scum podcast. Brock, what is it all about?
It's everything and anything about Star Wars. I really like Star Wars. You really like Star Wars, and
we're going to pretend to know even more than we know about Star Wars.
Yeah.
But before we get started today, I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the Rebel Scum podcast channel on YouTube and checking us out. For those of you that have taken the time to subscribe to our channel over the last little while, thank you so much. Means a lot to the both of us.
yes,
And we're here for you. So if you have anything you want us to talk about on the show, please, on the comments below, write it down. As you can see, this is episode number 26.
Wow.
26 long, short weeks.
Wow.
Long, short weeks we've been doing this. So anyway, the way this show is going to work is we're going to ramble on. We're going to talk. What are we talking about today? We're talking about
Stars,
Rebels.
Wars.
We're going to talk about Rebels. We got Never Tell Me the Odds, where we break down some odds, some interesting facts, and we say whether or not we think it is going to happen. We've got some news stories to cover, and top 5 creatures you'll find at Jabba's Palace is how we're going to end the show.
I didn't even read the top 5 today.
Top 5 creatures in Jabba's Palace. Jabba the Hutt is not, it's excluded. You cannot have Jabba the Hutt on your list. Anyone else, though, is fair game. So that's our top 5. Stay tuned to the end of the show for that. And let's start, though, with it was a big week in Star Wars land.
Yeah.
In La La Land, if you will.
Have you seen La La Land yet?
I have not. I just watched, what did I watch yesterday? Hell or High Water yesterday.
Oh, I really want. Is that on, like? How did you watch that one?
It's on Google Play. I rented it.
Ooh la la!
I rented it for a little bit. But anyway, the big news was episode 8 got its title.
Yeah.
Ooh, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, when you texted me Last Jedi, and I had no idea. I was like, great, and I just went back to what I was doing. And then I went on Instagram. I was like, Last Jedi. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's I love the title.
Yeah.
So that was your reaction. What were your first thoughts when you heard the title, though?
I thought that's great. I mean, it's so ambiguous. It doesn't mean anything, though. Of course, the internet has a million theories of what's gonna be, but I think it's just right. I'm sure once we watch the movie, we'll be like, oh, now I get it. But yeah,
I think this plays into everything that The Force Awakens was leading up to. Right. I mean, we did a lot of talking about The Force Awakens and how, it leaves a lot of questions unanswered. But the one constant with it was Luke Skywalker was the last Jedi. It says as much in the opening crawl, and it's nice to see Lucasfilm sticking with telling stories based on opening crawls. But it said he's the last Jedi, and Snoke and the First Order will not rest until the last Jedi has been destroyed. That last Jedi being Luke Skywalker. As far as but there could always be a twist and a turn to this, and I know a lot of people are saying that there won't be and there shouldn't be, but there always could be. You never know with the Star Wars universe that we live under.
Yeah.
So
sorry. Yeah. I think it's
great title. Great title.
I think it's great. I think it's not a red herring, because that means something you forgot to tie up. Do you think it's a false lead? Like, is it... You know how, like, some movies... I can't think of an example, but it's like... The title is just something that's said at some point during the movie. Which I know is sort of what we just said. But
Hell or High Water does that. Spoiler alert.
But, it's like, Mission, Last Jedi. That's what... Like that just popped in my head. It's like, kill the Last Jedi. But he's not the Last Jedi. So they fail from the beginning.
No, I actually think that this is, and I have my reaction review thing is up on YouTube. You check that out. But my honest to goodness thoughts right now is very simple. It is Luke Skywalker is the last Jedi, and the story went from finding Luke Skywalker to Luke Skywalker's story now. This could be his conclusion story. I don't think it will be. I think this will be an arc of his. Now they have found the last Jedi, and why is he the last Jedi? And I think all of that is what this movie is going to be mostly about: finding and killing the last Jedi, and the last Jedi saving the galaxy.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. I want to also this past weekend, which I think this Last Jedi title is really kind of giving me this idea that that this movie is going to enhance the prequel experience.
Really?
Yeah. Here I'm gonna go a little deep into things. Right now. I'm gonna lift up my mic.
Lift up my mic.
So I can talk into it. Oh, I got tangled. Anyway, so this past weekend I was at my in-laws' house.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this happened, but we got there and my father-in-law mentioned Star Wars. And then he said, "Don't we have those on cassette tape?"
Oh.
And my wife went out and grabbed the special edition, the very first special edition from 1997.
Oh, okay, the gold box one?
The gold box one. She brought it out and she's like, "Guess what? We should watch these." And they have a working VCR for whatever reason.
I have that.
Do you have a working VCR?
Yeah.
Let's just do it. So he doesn't have the DVD or Blu-ray. He has the VHS. Yeah. So we put it on and we watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And
how do you convince people?
I actually had nothing to do. The great part was I had nothing to do with any of this. I literally was like, I just was like sitting there, and I think they mentioned the podcast, and then he was like, "We should watch them on VHS." And my wife Erin just was like, "I'm done." She came back with them. She's like, "Put it on," and it finished. We ended up watching it. It went to like midnight, and then literally it ends, and he just goes, "Well, we should watch the next one, shouldn't we?" So we put on Jedi. We didn't finish on it because it ended up being like 1 a.m. So we watched it the next day though, and everybody was really like excited to finish watching the movie. But
they are the best movies in the world.
They are, and everybody will admit that. But but what was interesting is I started watching these movies, and like I said, last weekend or the weekend before, we watched Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
And so I'm watching these movies with those ones very fresh in my mind, and for the first time ever, really thinking of. Like, actually, in my head, I was able to have Anakin and Vader as the same person, and I was putting the voice together. And for the first time, I've never really done that before, where I've always just Vader's Vader, Anakin's Anakin.
Right.
It doesn't like nothing really affects me. Like people are like, "Oh, how can that whiny guy be Vader?" It never really affected me. But this time, I actually was like, I was pretty cognizant. I'm like, I'm going like in my head, I'm like, that is Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen. That's Darth Vader.
Right.
So that was. So I started watching it for the first time, and where I'm going with this, because it just sounds like I'm not going anywhere, is VHS is awesome. No, where I'm going with it is Obi-Wan really has a unique way of talking about the Force with Luke, and it's a way that they don't talk about it in the prequels. And the prequels, a lot of people are saying that George Lucas was the continuity, the canon killer, essentially. He killed his own stuff because he kind of recreated midi-chlorians
right.
and this and that. But if you look at it, I think he actually did something even better. I think he enhanced the original trilogy because of the prequel trilogy, and not just because of the quality or anything. So if you put Jar Jar Binks aside and the acting aside and everything's a green screen aside, and you look at the story, and Anakin turns because of Padme. Is your first thought. But it's not because of Padme. It's because of the dark side. And because he's rejected by the Jedi Council over and over and over again.
That's true.
And the thing is, why is he rejected? Because they don't believe he's good enough.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Council, and the thing you see when you watch it like through these eyes now, and then you just watch, the prequels and then watch these ones, is you realize Obi-Wan was never fully convinced with the Jedi Order himself. He loved the idea of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
He loved what it was supposed to be. But what it was turning into was something completely different. It was turning into Mace Windu wanting to kill the Chancellor Palpatine. Right. But he wants to get... They go kind of against what they believe in a lot of ways to get what they want. Because the more the Chancellor has power, the less power the Jedi have. And you can watch in the original, as it kind of keeps going, that Yoda kind of starts seeing this. So his views actually of all Jedi things eventually start changing too. If you watch it a little closer, and then in the original trilogy, and I'm sure this is maybe just luck of the draw, but like his view of the Force when he teaches it to Luke, he leaves all of the garbage out. It's kind of like religion, right? You have your denominations and all of that, and then you take and then people are like, I'm leaving this because I don't believe in that. So I think that's what I was noticing when I was watching these movies, is I was like, oh, this is actually Anakin doesn't turn because of Padme. That's part of it. Yeah. But he's starting to think, hey, these guys are not doing very well, but this area here, this dark side can help me. It can help save everyone that I love, and these guys are actually wrong. They want freedom and all this for the wrong reasons. Yeah. So I think, and then he has that boring speech about politics, but. You put that aside, but that's what. So anyway, this title, "The Last Jedi," it kind of gives me feeling that this being the Last Jedi is going to actually. If you remember Scream 3, how they talked a lot about trilogies though, and the last one in a trilogy goes back to the beginning. Right. This now, episode 8, is now the middle part of the trilogy. Yeah. Right, because this would be the third, the sequel trilogy, original trilogy, and prequel trilogy. Right. So this is the third part. So now all of a sudden, it makes sense to go back and delve into the prequel era a little bit more. I hope they do. I don't know if they will, but I think though, with what we're going to learn in this movie, is going to enhance the prequels.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think you're right in a sense. I mean, we've talked about it even before knowing this title that like Kylo Ren's not a Sith, so that means it's the dark side of the Force is the dark side of the Force. It doesn't matter what you call it. You decide to use it for this, you're that. Then you are like this. So if Kylo Ren is not a Sith, it's very easy to think, well, maybe Rey doesn't become a Jedi. I mean, also we've said like maybe those characters will flip if they're good or evil. That'd be cool as well.
Yeah.
But I think maybe the focus on this one is okay. Let's rethink it because now we are on. I don't want it to make it all business, but like. They're not under the regime of I don't know I can't remember if George Lucas had any real hold over the expanded universe at all. Like
I think there's a few things he did. I think a lot of it was just hey, go play in the sandbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, I think he created a lot of the universe stuff, but not the stories themselves.
Right. Yeah. So I don't want to say it's a business thing, and Disney's like we gotta make it our own. But we know they're doing that. I mean, the Darth Maul video game got canceled because of that reason, because they had no say in the creativity of it. So like I said, this title is completely ambiguous. So I'm a pretty firm believer that this, once we watch the movie, is like, ooh, okay, I get it. I get it. Because I would say all the titles are like that except for maybe Attack of the Clones. I think Attack of the Clones is pretty straightforward. It's not a terrible title. It's just like, okay, yeah.
When I first heard it, I thought it was terrible. Then you watch it and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Attack of the Clones.
I think everybody wanted it to be called the Clone Wars.
What do you think of the everyone talking about the color of
like we have on the screen?
Like it's red right here.
Yeah, a lot of people went to that, and people are trying to read into it. My initial thought was Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think color. I get it. Like, yeah, red.
Will the next one be green?
But like, there's so many different versions of every logo. Like the original Star Wars were typically white.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think what this is it is a callback to Return of the Jedi. In color sense, because that was red. Mm-hmm. I think Jedi, so you want to correlate them together and put them together. Like, so you stick with Luke being red. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. What do you?
For listeners at home, I have my window open. That's when we are at flight path.
We're right beside the airport.
So I apologize for that, but I can't hear it. I think you have to listen really close. I think the color is just like you can't expect that to mean anything.
I think it's cool looking.
Like the prequels all had golden logos. Like they all look the same. It meant nothing. Though Revenge of the Sith did have a red logo.
Yeah, that was red, and Jedi was red, and this is red.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Though I was thinking about this week as well. Now we have to specify what is Jedi and what isn't.
Somebody brought that up to me.
Because it's like, it's like, oh, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Empire or Jedi? And I always say Jedi, but now it's like, I guess I feel like maybe we'll just say, oh, Last Jedi is good.
Yeah, maybe Last. Which one's your favorite? Last. That's my favorite. Yeah. That's. Well, we have to watch this movie. I mean, hopefully, when people ask us what our favorite Star Wars movie is, we still say Jedi.
Yeah.
And no one questions it. They're just like, it's either Return or The Last, and either one of them are awesome.
Yeah.
Live with it. That's my hope. I just hope the movie is.
Yeah.
What we want it to be. Not what we want it to be, what it should be. That's what I want to say that. Not what we want it to be, because we want it to be something that it should not be, probably. I want it to just be clerks on an island.
Like, I want more about the characters that we've met. So, like, it's a no-brainer. Just give me more stuff. Like, it's...
Would you be disappointed if Poe and Finn and those characters didn't show up for 40 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
What if you were so engaged in the story, though? Would you care?
Good question.
Because if they stick to Star Wars tradition, we might not get these guys for a while. But it also sounds like they're not.
I get what you're saying, but like, I mean, Empire, you saw all the main characters pretty quickly.
Yeah, but they were all together. Rey's not with them. And if it's going to pick up right where the other one left off.
I mean, Attack of the Clones, I think you see most of the characters right off the bat.
I
mean, they go to Coruscant.
Yeah, but they're not going to go to the island to see Luke and Rey, though.
I feel like they'll skip over a lot of the training.
Well, they say it's going to pick up right where 7 left off. Right where
I feel like it's going to do that, and then it's going to be like opening crawl or
think that's what,
title, and then we'll go to where all the other characters are, and then or maybe it'll jump forward in time then, and it'll be like, this is what the Resistance has been up to. This is what Poe's been doing. This is what Finn's been doing. And now let's go back to Octo, which I was thinking about.
Or Achto or Uchto?
Because you said it in your video. I think you said Act 2.
I go Act 2, Act 2.
And I'm like, as I listened to you do that, because I wasn't part of the recording that, I was like, so the island is called Act 2, and we're gonna spend most of the time out in the second movie. So I'm calling it Octo. But like, seriously, guys, is it? I mean, I don't think anyone's thought about this too much, but like, if you pronounce it Act 2. Is it hitting the nail way too good on the head? Like, this is like the, Darth Vader, Dark Fathers. Like, how did you not know? German is father, Vader is for fodder. Fodder? But, where was I going with this? Yeah, I think they'll skip it and they'll get to more of the meat. I feel like we'll leave Rey and Luke and then come back and she's a little bit more adept in the Force, and then maybe he starts to open up about what's happening. I don't know.
Do you think they'll focus any on her being a Mary Sue and getting out of that? I no, I don't think.
I know you don't think that.
But the thing is, it's a huge outcry, and people are idiots.
Yeah,
and they think what they want because people are idiots. So they're gonna have this voice of stupidity.
If you call her a Mary Sue, then you have to call Luke a Mary Joe or Mr.
But the difference,
Sue.
The difference though is that he was actually taught the Force and failed the Force a few times. She just did it.
Yeah, but like, if you just look at New Hope and Force Awakened as what they learn about the Force, Luke isn't really taught much. The only failure that I feel that Luke does in the Force in A New Hope is he's like, but if I can't with the blast shield, then how do I fight? And then he does figure it out.
But he's also taught it. She's not taught it. That we know.
True.
I'm just playing devil's advocate on this.
But I feel like, he's not taught much. He's told, like, oh, use the Force now, and then he blows up the Death Star. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like somebody tells him, okay, now. Or, like, it's sort of luck of the draw. Like, I mean, yeah, you could fight that, like, he uses the Force to send the what is it? Is it a proton torpedo he shoots in there? Yeah. Anyways, pew, pew. The comments on this one. But yeah.
Make them rain.
Give
us some ideas for top fives because we're going to be using the ones that you give us soon. Trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. Okay, let's move on. This is the last Jedi. This is the last comment on this one till next week.
I'm excited.
You know what? Okay, one last thought. Because what it immediately says to a lot of people is, when are we getting the trailer? Brock, when are we getting the trailer?
I think I said it before. As much as I'm excited to go to Celebration and I would love to see something exclusive that normal people can't see, I really can't see the first trailer dropping at Celebration. I think maybe the first full length trailer, but we'll definitely get a teaser beforehand.
Interesting.
I just can't, because last year's Celebration was in the summer, right? In England. It was
in July, yeah.
So, like, there's no way that they could wait that long. But I feel like you got to, remember the teaser for Force Awakens? You see the Star Destroyer in the sand on Jakku. You see Rey on her speeder. You see Finn pop up like this with the Stormtrooper thing.
Yeah.
I think something like that. It doesn't have to be full length. It's just, I can't. It'd be great. It would be seriously great. But then, as we're doing a podcast about Star Wars.
Yep, we are.
We want these things to drop so we can react and talk about them so people will listen to us. Oh, I don't know. Do we, when we're at Celebration, once we see it, I mean, we can't record it, but can we go and do a podcast and tell everybody about everything?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to give everything away. Yeah,
no,
you can do whatever
you know what I mean?
Well, we're going to. We are going to Celebration, and we will be doing coverage from there. I guess I'm going to call it coverage. We'll do a podcast, but we'll have cool little snippets of videos and stuff that we'll do.
I guess I should really listen to other Star Wars podcasts to get that vibe, because I'm sure a lot of the bigger ones like Jedi Council are at all of these things, and I don't know if they dropped anything about
they usually these other people, they usually do a little thing, and they do tell you what they've seen, but last year you didn't see that much. But the one from 2 years ago in California in Anaheim, they did stream it online while people watched it live. That was the Han Solo Chewie, we're home.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming that people streaming at home will. Yeah. I don't know.
You never know. I
don't know. I don't know.
I would say it's January, February, March. It's 4 months away, 3 months away.
Yeah.
February is a short month. So, that's a long time. But also, the movie's not coming out for a year. So, it's not really. I mean, what's the rush? They know people are going to see it. They know it's going to make $1 billion at least.
Yeah.
Right? Rogue One made $1 billion, and nobody knew who anybody was in that thing.
There's probably millions of things that they could premiere at the. Or show, like the first poster or something like that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Last week we started a segment with where we did underrated Star Wars characters. And for those of you watching, you know who we picked. To recap it, we chose these two gentlemen right here.
They kind of look similar when you think about it, when you look at them.
They actually, you're actually right. But my pick was Dexter. I chose Dexter Jesse. You chose Admiral Akbar. We discussed it. And those are the two winners from last week. This week we have two more. So, Brock, just for everyone at home, what we're doing here is each week I'll pick two and Brock will pick two. Yes. We will discuss them. And then at the end, we will walk away with two. And at the end of 5 weeks, we will have 10 underrated or 15 underrated characters is going to be the number. You'll see how we get there eventually. But anyway, this week's, let's start with it. And I think I'm going first this week. Oh, snap. I am. Look out. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
I can see it. So just
yeah, but I can't get the graphic. There we go.
Yeah.
Boom! Bodhi Rook choice. From the movie Rogue Uno.
Bodhi Rook and the Rookings.
Bodhi Rook and the Rookings. I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's underdeveloped and blah, 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 blah. I was actually a huge fan of Bodhi Rook and what he did. And I would really actually like, for me, if I was going to get a book, I would actually really like a book about him defecting.
The Rook's book?
The Rook's book. Bodhi Rook defecting from the Empire.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Because meeting Galen and, like, how did Galen get to him? Galen Erso, for those of you that don't know Star Wars. I don't know why you're watching.
I mean, he definitely went to Edu. That's where Galen is, right? Edu?
He worked there. I think he was based out of there.
So, like, he was probably just on, I don't know. He's a likable guy. Maybe he just struck up a conversation. Maybe Galen got the sense that he wasn't a devout Imperial. Yeah. But it's a good choice. I always liked him. I love Riz Ahmed. Sorry. As an actor, I find him very interesting. He does a lot of interesting work. I mean, it's awesome that he scored Rogue One, but like he was great in Nightcrawler. He was great in On the Night of, which was an HBO special. He's in the OOA, which is one.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like a sort of minor character, but I was just like, oh, he keeps popping in things. I like the OOA because Stranger Things and stuff like that. But like, I would love to see it though. We kind of know it. I mean, what else? What more could you tell though? You could tell a lot of things, but like, I feel like
I think there's a story with him defecting, with Galen talking to him, discussing. I don't think it's something that's going to be explored, but I would like to see it. Like, what goes through the mind of somebody that's thinking about defecting? And how do you choose who you can trust at that point?
It would be a great comic series, maybe.
Yeah, comic. I'll buy a comic. Yeah. Brock, who you picking this week?
I already said it. There's gonna be a lot of bounty hunters. Forlom.
Oh, it's a Forlom conclusion.
Forlom. I really forgot to do research on this. Like I said before.
He looks like a bug.
I love. Before you take it. Oh no! Wait. I just love that he looks like a protocol droid that had like a different head put on it. I mean, granted, it could be how he was built. I like to think that those bug eyes make him add to his bounty hunting ways. But he's a cool, it's cool. And there's a lot of stuff where they just take old things and change them up a little bit, like I think like Bosk's flight suit, somebody wears it in Mos Eisley. Yeah. And I think it's an homage to an episode of Doctor Who. And so like the protocol droid, I like it. It just I had him a figure, one of the figures from the 90s when where they would start making them again.
I have a bust of him.
Oh no way!
I have this Darth Vader and Bounty Hunter busts. It's all the Bounty Hunter for Empire. And
sweet. And I like he's partners with Zuckuss and what have you. I feel like there's probably a lot more to it, but I like it when droids are like killing people or blood. 00s from Dr. Aphra is really cool. So it's sort of the same idea.
Yeah, 00s is pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
All right, who's next?
Admiral Piet.
Boom! Look at that
face. Simply for the reason of he's like the one Imperial we know a lot about besides like Vader or like the main guys, like the leaders. Like, granted, he's an admiral, so he's pretty high up, but like he survives from one movie to the next, which is
he goes through a lot.
Yeah, and it's looking him up on Wikipedia. There's a lot more to it. Like he actually served under Tarkin, not obviously on the Death Star, but like as a junior cadet or something, or lieutenant. So it's like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I just like it. He's like the Wedge of the Empire.
Yeah, so. It's actually true. He shows up and he sticks around for so long and he somehow does not get killed ever. Everyone around him dies.
Yep.
Well, maybe he dies. Do we know if he dies? He's not in Aftermath.
I know he dies. He goes down in the Executor.
Oh, yes.
The A-Wing flies into the bridge. He's on the bridge.
That was a dark day.
Yeah.
That was a dark day for all of us. Yes. That would explain why he's not in the books. Anyway, I whispered. I'm going to go with mine because this one I think this is guaranteed to win everyone. And I think we're going to get subscribers based on this one. CORDE. You're laughing. Do you even know who CORDE is?
I didn't remember till I saw this picture. And because I was reading the rundown, I'm like, CORDE? Who's CORDE again? I thought it was a bounty hunter, like
CORDE
or a smuggler.
Is like
I remember now.
Yeah, she gets blown up in Attack of the Clones when there is a plot to assassinate Amidala,
which is awesome. Like I love the way that movie starts like that. That's great. But she's only there for 2 minutes.
Look, okay, they're underrated Star Wars characters, bro.
And she's not Rose Byrne, and she's not Keira
Rose Byrne is Dorme, who's next week on my list. Anyway, look. So I'm going with CORDE though because we're going underrated characters. Underrated.
True.
She saves the Queen's life effectively.
Yeah.
And without her saving her life, Anakin might have gone dark right away, and it could have been held to pay for even longer than there was.
Yeah.
So, and there wouldn't have been a movie after that, or they would never have met. Actually, Anakin and Padme probably never would have met after. I mean, they would have met, but they would have seen each other for.
This is before they have their romance.
Yeah. So I mean, so CORDE is actually the one that sets the whole plot of Star Wars in motion. Look, it's underrated characters. The thing is, she's not mentioned ever again, before or after. But she gets killed saving Amidala, so I think she's underrated for that reason. Whatever. This is Star Wars underrated characters, and she's underrated.
So, do we have to choose now?
Let's choose who we think now. I'm not going to put the full page up; it's too much work. Daryl's not behind here; I have to do it. Okay, if I'm going to pick two, I'm going to go PIET and BODHI.
It's Admiral Piet, by the way. I will go Piet as well.
You're gonna pick CORDE. He's going with CORDE, and I'm gonna back him.
I like BODHI, but like I said, I'm like, what more could you do? Like,
but it's underrated though, underappreciated. He never gets mentioned.
Fine.
CORDE.
BODHI. BODHI Rook.
So wait, we're not doing CORDE.
So, no, BODHI.
That's
and
my.
PIET.
This is my
Admiral
Obi-Wan
PIET.
Kenobi.
Yeah.
Luke. From a certain point of view, I can't do impressions. Period. So we're going with BODHI and Pete. His name was Pete Pie.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Adventures of Pete and Pete. All right, moving on. This week's episode of Rebels was kind of awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really good. Some people are calling it the best episode of the show, period. I am not, because it did not feature Darth Maul.
They're really, like, something's coming. It's going to be great. But, like, they're really dragging their feet on that.
They are. The thing is, they should have just the way this is how Rebels does it though. They could have waited to bring Darth Maul into it till now.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, hey, the last 6 episodes of the Darth Maul Obi-Wan storyline.
Yeah, like remember at the beginning of the season, we're like, oh,
yeah,
like Ezra might go dark at some point, and that is
now
not
he's like
happened.
super light side.
He's like back to the normal Ezra.
I could argue he's even nicer than normal Ezra.
They're like, and know what I thought of recently? Because in the second episode, he does a mission, or no, it's the first one. The first mission, he's like, he's like, oh, I'm doing this mission, and he's like, you're a lieutenant commander now, and I'm like, that's cool. He's like 17, and that's just has kind of gone away. Like,
yeah, it's.
I mean, last episode it was like none of them were in it. It was Zeb and Chopper, which was a good episode. Don't get me wrong, awesome, and I like the homage to the original C-3PO, what have you, in that. But like, yeah, like it just drove me nuts. But this was a really good episode. I would hope that they continue on in this vein.
I think they are.
Like, I want to see more of the Darksaber. Obviously,
which got mentioned in Rogue One.
Did it? When
they're looking for the files on the Death Star.
Oh, yeah.
Right before Stardust was a Darksaber. It was a nice little nod.
But see, when I heard that, I didn't think of that. I was thinking more like how it's like Biggs Darklighter. But this is cool because this kind of says that Disney, or the new Lucasfilms, whatever you want to call it, is willing to say that the Knights of the Old Republic stuff is kind of, we'll do it. I mean, like, we're taking a nod to it because it mentions the Mandalore Wars. Now I wouldn't, if they're saying, yeah, that happened, it's going to be totally different.
Oh, yeah. They're going to rewrite that.
So, yeah, like, I don't know.
They're going to do it however it fits into their thing, yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It's just a good show. I mean,
do you still buy into the theory that Sabine and Ezra are Rey's parents?
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. Wow, you're laughing. Yeah, that's a real thing.
I did see recently that they think the Benicio del Toro
is Ezra,
which would be interesting. I just like his hair is blue, dude. Like, it's
my thing. Well, you know how I feel. I don't think the cartoons are going to. The movies are going to take that much from the cartoon. Yeah. You're gonna get like the Hammerhead Corvettes, and you're gonna get the ghost ship in the background. But they're not gonna go side by side because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Whether you're an adult or not, it's still a cartoon that not everybody pays attention to. And why would you introduce a character like that in the cartoon?
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Just like in the books, they're not gonna introduce Snoke in a book, unless he's in Aftermath.
I feel like it's nice. It's nice how it all works together, but like, I feel like it's got to be something, like you said, just separate. Like, I think a show will, like Rebels, will be awesome once they're done the trilogy, and then they could be like, oh, all the little things in between or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're holding stuff back, so
that's what sucks.
They can still hold stuff back and not affect Rebels because it happened way before. But I don't know. It's good though. I love it.
I love Rebels too. I was really excited to see this episode. It was a great episode, but I'm waiting for this Darth Maul. It makes me feel like Darth Maul's in one more episode. Maybe there's a 2-parter. Maybe I'm hoping it's not the finale again. Yeah. And also, if you watch my Darth Maul video, I kind of think Ezra's going to be the one that's going to take him out.
Yeah.
I still have this feeling like, because we've been saying Ezra was going down a dark path, and now all of a sudden that path has changed. And like when he's training Sabine, he's like, I'm like, I actually respect this kid right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he seems very adult and mature. And I think taking out Maul would be a great step. And I don't want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi take out Maul because that's against his character, and that's weird. Like it's just weird. I mean, it's not against his character. He killed him already, I guess. But and then in the Legends, if you remember, it was Owen Lars that took out Darth Maul. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen either. I hope it's Ezra or Kanan. Kanan could be the one.
Yeah.
That actually like they could do a full switcheroo on us. Be like, no, Ezra's actually the good guy. Kanan's the MF you got to watch out for. I
just wish they hadn't shown us Obi-Wan in that
Hello
trailer.
there.
Like, just play that card. Like, how amazing would it be in your like end of an episode and it's just like Obi-Wan sitting by the fire, like
you're in the wrong place. But they did that last year with Darth Maul when they showed him in the thing, and they're like, no one's gonna know what Darth.
Look at this. Yeah, you watch the thing. It's like, hey, look, I have Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Yeah. No, you don't. You just found it.
Yeah. So they do that. Anyway, the show, it's coming to an end, and it's got to be a couple months, 2 months. There might be a lot of episodes left. I don't even know. But either way, it feels like they're picking up pace and they're getting ready for the ending with it, because she's gonna have to use the saber. Mm-hmm. Like they're bringing it in for a reason. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. Anyway, let's move on to everyone's second favorite subject. Everyone's second favorite segment. Thank you, Brock.
Holo News. Oh.
Never tell me the odds. The Holo News is everyone's favorite segment. It's the only one. Okay, I got to open up my iPad because I don't remember what the odds were. Oh, the odds are pretty good. Have you read the odds?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Oh, look, my iPad just made an appearance on the thing with my dirty thing. All right, never tell me the odds. This is where we list 3 things and we give the odds.
Yeah.
So, Brock, what are the odds? We will hear Leia referred to as Hutt Slayer in The Last Jedi.
I really want this to happen. That would be so great. And you just say it in passing and that's it. It doesn't even have to have like a whole be like, oh. I want to say 80%.
Ooh.
I don't think there's any drive to do that, but like it would be sweet. It was a nice touch. It was awesome. Bloodlines. So yeah.
I'm going to go 61%. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I mean, obviously, I think it might happen. I would love it to happen. If you ask me what my hopes were, it would be 119%. But I think it's 61. I don't know if it's going to go in that far, but I don't know what the movie's about.
Yeah.
What was the gangster's name that referred to her as Hutt Slayer? Do you remember?
Yeah, never him something.
Does he die?
Yeah.
He gets killed, right?
Yeah.
That's such a waste. We need like somebody to stick around so these names keep continuing. So, because no one else really refers to her as that.
No, yeah.
But it would be cool if like Lord Dern was like, "Hey, Hutt Slayer." Because what? All right, and the odds of the Ewoks appearing on screen again.
Oh, 100% because I want it to happen.
Okay, if you ask me what I want to happen, again, 119%. I'm going 0.5%. They appear on film again.
Do we have the zooms up? No, that's still at your ass. No, the Ewoks. Think about like how much things they could make if Ewoks.
Yeah. Well, they're in the Life Debt book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like grief counselors on Endor after the war. I can't remember if they're in it. They just mentioned, but anyway, that's what they've.
I want it to happen. For them. 100%. Yeah? Opposite of full Brock.
That's a reverse full Brock. All right, and the odds of a Rogue Squadron standalone film.
Now you're referring to what I always screw up with Rogue One.
Yeah, X-Wings.
It would be nice. I would love it, but then people would be like, "Well, you kind of already made this movie." Kind of, not really. Yes and no.
Yeah, but they could do more. I mean, the idea is another war type Star Wars film.
Hey,
it doesn't have to be called Rogue Squadron.
Like, remember in like the original trailer in Rogue One where you saw a lot of like X-wing fighters X-wing pilots being like not kidnapped, but under like somebody's like leading them away, and it's supposed to be Jedi. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things deleted from that movie because of all the reshoots. But like, remember that? And that was like the theory that they go to Jeddah to like save these pilots and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, oh, there's gonna be pilots, but then that never happened.
Never happened. Welcome to
oh man,
welcome to Rogue One.
I can't wait to see all these deleted things. Oh, here's something I thought of today. What do you think the odds are that George Lucas is sitting on something that he made Star Wars related? Like there's something in the vault that he's never released. You know, have we seen every possible thing that George Lucas has made for Star Wars related? Like
made or written?
Either or. Ideally, written, no. something like shot, like a not a full film, but something. I was thinking of this because I was listening to a podcast that was how did this get made? The Star Wars Christmas special. Yeah. And it was talking about how like George Lucas went out of his way to destroy every copy of that. Like, if he did, or he didn't destroy it. He bought every copy. So it's like, well, maybe in the vault he has one. Like maybe he destroyed everything, but he has one copy. So it's just like, do you think there's anything he has made, or you know, like maybe like a cartoon that never went anywhere, or I don't know. I guess we would. I
heard that the Christmas special was. I think we mentioned this on our facts about the Christmas special. Yeah. I think that was meant to. They were meant to spin that off into a Wookiee show of some sort.
Yeah.
He might have something like that. I'll bet you has some Wookiee stuff because he was obsessed with Wookiees. Yeah. So he might have some Wookiee things. He might maybe even, you know what? I don't know, limb here, but maybe even something to do with Gungans. Early, like late 90s, like 1990.
Yeah.
Like 90s, like they were just shooting Phantom Menace. You know, let's do a Gungan show. Maybe like if we do a Gungan movie. And that's my terrible joke. I can't do impressions. I said this earlier on. But I think like because I think he thought Gungans were gonna hit like Wookiees and Ewoks, or more Wookiees I guess than Ewoks, but they hit like doo-doo. Misa no have it, booba. I love
don't know. I was just thinking that today. I was just like gonna throw that at you. Anyways.
All right, let's go over to Coruscant with the HOLO news.
Boop, 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 boop. This is the HOLO news.
HOLO news.
Today in HOLO news, I am opening my email. Okay.
Boom.
So
it's on the screen.
No, I know what the story is, but I want to open the link. So we are going to Celebration, and they are talking about Celebration. Specifically, they are going to have a Carrie Fisher Memorial, which is being sort of held or being organized by the website Tashi Station, which is an awesome name, and I really should check that website out. It's a memorial, so I don't know. Did you see any price on?
I did not know.
You don't have to have Celebration passes. Like I think it's just you just have to be in Orlando. I didn't see any. There's an Eventbrite, but I had to sign in, so I didn't see. But there's a lot of cool stuff. It's just it's called Drowning in Moonlight. And seriously, comicbook.com, who wrote this? You need to edit because it says drowning in moonlight twice. This is the main story. Like this, you're talking about an event called Drowning in Moonlight, which is about Carrie Fisher. So check it. It sounds awesome. And, they're raising money for the Midnight Mission, which is something Carrie Fisher contributed a lot. It's just giving men, women, and children a chance to put their lives back together if they've lost direction in some way. But it's a celebration for Carrie Fisher and just how she, what she did for the world. There's going to be door prizes, a guest book for fans to express condolences, event-specific merchandise like patches, stadium cups, and what have you. That'd be cool. I'd be down to go for that. Souvenir photos, food, and Carrie-themed drink menu, a silent auction for Star Wars paraphernalia, and a joint podcast between Tashi Station, Full of Sith, Jedi News, Star Wars Report, and more.
Oh, that'll be good.
Rebel Scum podcast?
That'll be a good podcast.
Sounds awesome. I definitely hope we can check it out. I think it's worth it because Carrie, as much as, we're like, oh, Carrie Fisher, she was Princess Leia. But, she was a very interesting woman, and I think she deserves recognition because the world, Hollywood, in a sense, kind of didn't recognize her enough. And if you don't know what I mean, check out Bright Lights, the HBO documentary I talked about a couple of episodes. Really gives you an idea of like who Carrie Fisher was and what she struggled through in life.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd actually on people.com. He did a tribute to her, I think yesterday or today or 2 days ago or something. Yeah, so you can check that. It's cool.
Yes.
Moving on,
Stranger Things. Everybody's favorite Netflix show is there's somebody made this wonderful poster you're seeing here. Mostly, I think it was prompted, besides the fact that, Stranger Things is a popular thing right now. It was prompted by something Millie Bobby Brown said at the Rhode Island convention last fall, whatever, that she would love to play Princess Leia someday. And we talked about that. I mean, that would be cool. She's a cool, I'm excited to see where Millie Bobby Brown goes. I think she's very talented. I mean, she does in this role though. She doesn't say a ton, but excellent emotions going on. So that was a cool poster that they put out. I love that Dustin is just Chewbacca with a hat on.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Stranger Things season 2 coming out fairly soon. Fantastic.
And we'll be doing a podcast on that also.
Yes, we're gonna we're definitely want to make some kind of Stranger Thing podcast separate of this. It won't be Rebel Scum podcast.
We'll give info.
Of course.
Info as it comes. When does Stranger Things 2 come? Do you know? It's July probably. I'm gonna go with July. Let's go with July. Last year was July, I think. May.
Yeah.
May, July. Either way. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this. This was cool though because she does. I think she would make a cool Leia. She said she wanted to play Leia. I think in passing more as a thing, but I mean. And when you watch A New Hope versus Rogue One, it makes it sound like Leia does so much more in the rebellion.
Yeah.
I mean, because Vader's like, oh, blah, 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 this time and all this to her.
I mean, if you did like a Leia specific movie, like the Han Solo movie, where you could technically cast a younger person to play.
And you want a female protagonist, Leia is it.
Yeah,
that'd
be sweet.
She's tough. She's not a Mary Sue.
And then you just put Millie Bobby Brown as the young Leia.
Yeah, because you can't CG the whole thing as young Leia. It's cool in Rogue One. It's very cool in Rogue One, but a whole film you can't do.
Did you know? You probably don't know this, but Billie Lourd, Carrie Fisher's daughter, is in the show Scream Queens, which is like a parody of horror films, and she's in one of the main characters with. Emma Roberts and who's the girl? She was in Little Miss Sunshine, and she was in Signs.
Oh, I can't remember her name.
Not Chloe Moretz, the other one.
Yeah, Spencer Breslin, Abigail Breslin.
Yeah, they're the three. They're called the Chanels. Anyways, Billie Lourd always wears earmuffs, like fuzzy earmuffs, which as a homage to their mother is like, I don't know. I've never watched the show. I've been wanting to watch the show, but she does it specific. They do that specifically for that, which is kind of rad. That's pretty funny. I wonder if do you think Billie Lourd would be a believable Leia? I don't know her too much as an actress, but do you think she kind of looks like? I mean. I'm not saying she doesn't look like her mother, but you know what I mean? You haven't put any thought to it, do you? You've seen what she looks like.
You just asked me point blank.
Yeah.
Well, she's already in Star Wars.
That's true.
So, it would have been a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think that, but yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you look at Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich doesn't look anything like Harrison Ford or sound like Harrison Ford as far as I know in this movie. But he's going to play him.
Yeah.
And hopefully we believe he is him because he's just a character.
Yeah.
And you should, almost anybody should be able to play a character as long as they have the right traits, which is what an actor is supposed to do. So I'm going to say, yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Next story. Boom. Laura Dern had some nice things to say about Carrie Fisher. So going back to sort of the Carrie Fisher story. Saying, they worked together on episode 8. But she opened up to Entertainment Tonight, I believe. She said, we put a lot of focus currently on what is the female icon, what it is to use your voice, what it is to be comfortable in your own skin. And Carrie Fisher has always been one of the most extraordinary beacons, an ordinary screen icon. So, she she went out of her way to say, like, you know, like, not just Princess Leia, but, like, I think I would argue that, yeah, like, Leia is a very standout female character, especially when you see her in Force Awakens. It's sort of, she doesn't get a lot of screen time, but, like, you're still like, yes, I want to know more. I read Bloodlines because I'm like, oh, Leia's now a general, which is not far-fetched because I would think she would be a general in the other movies when you think about it. But
did it throw you off guard that Vader was her father?
What? In the movies?
In the book, were you like, oh my god?
No,
what?
Because the book is called Bloodlines.
No, Leia's someone you want to know more about.
Yeah. So
and Laura
Dern.
And Laura Dern, where is she? Here. She is going to be calling Leia a Hutt Slayer.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
In episode 8, you mark my words.
Yeah.
Do you think Laura Dern could be playing any characters from Bloodline or no?
Maybe. Maybe.
Moving on.
Is that full Brock?
That's full. This is my favorite news story.
There's a new monkey, and they called it the Skywalker.
I'm not even going to put the camera on us. I'm just going to leave
gibbon.
it here. I'm just going to leave it here.
Which one is it? Are they all the same? Or is like, because they were looking at gibbons, Lisa Gibbons. They were looking at gibbons in a reserve in Asia somewhere, and they were, after a point, they were like, these are like, they were calling it a specific type of gibbon. But then they decided, this is not the same thing. So they realized that this is a totally different ape, and they've called it the Skywalker ape.
Yeah, the Skywalker ape.
And Mark Hamill is ecstatic.
Of course.
On Twitter, he said, it's like, action figures. I'm on lunchboxes, underoos, and now I have an ape. He's like, I'm going ape for Skywalker apes.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that's cool. Apparently, they're in a reserve, and it's hard to get to. But I feel like, I was thinking when I read this, I was like, this would be a cool stop for a Star Wars pilgrimage. I think I said this to you before. Like, it would be cool to hit all the places in the world where they shot. I mean, you go to Italy for a lot of the stuff they shot in the prequel. I'd love to see this island in Ireland that they shot Octo on. Or Act 2, whatever.
Act 2.
Act 2.
Act 2?
Yeah. So that would be kind of neat. I mean, maybe one of these apes will end up in a zoo, and like that'd be like a check mark. And like, look.
Maybe they'll end up in a Star Wars movie.
Some zoo should figure this out and then get endorsement from Disney or Lucasfilm, and like.
I'm sure it'll be the Lucas Skywalker Ranch Zoo. We'll get them going on. Anyway, that's a nice story. It's a nice pick me up.
And the other big reveal this week.
Was it a real reveal though?
Not really. It's what we expected. Woody Harrelson, we already knew he was going to be in the Han Solo movie, but he has revealed that his character is, in fact, Garrus Shrike, the mentor to Han Solo in the expanded universe.
Have you seen the interview? This interview?
No.
He's asked point blank.
Okay.
If he's this guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of gives a pause. And he goes, yeah. And Laura Dern's right beside him. She goes, don't do it. Don't do it. And he just goes, yeah, sure. It's kind of like, yeah, he admits to it, but he also, it's almost unbelievable how you have to watch the video because he's asked the question, he doesn't want to answer, and Laura Dern's like, don't do it, and then he's like, Garrus Shrike, he goes, sure. And it's almost like, is he really, or is he just saying
Is that official, though?
No, it's just from this, and everyone's just gone with it's confirmed. I don't think Disney's confirmed it. As far as I know, if I'm wrong, I'm sure people will let us know.
I just say that who cares? You know, if he is Garrus Shrike, great.
He's going to be that type of character regardless.
No, yeah, it's not like, oh, he's Sheev Palpatine. What?
You just shut up. How could he be Sheev Palpatine?
He is from the past. What?
Could you imagine?
He has a time lord.
Space-time continuum.
He's a time lord.
Time Lord. The one thing that I can guarantee, though, about this is that I am excited for the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. So.
And Han Solo is a great character. And you combine everything together so far, and I'm like, there is nothing about this movie I don't like. Sure, at one point I thought, why do I want this movie? But then I realized.
They showed you why you want it.
But movies are entertainment. These movies are documentaries, and some of the other ones are not. But this is entertainment.
Yeah.
And I want to be entertained, and Han Solo entertains me. He's on my shirt.
Oh, I just noticed that.
Right there.
Right there.
Nipple. Anyway, so I'm really excited for it. Let's move on to. I think you've got something this week.
I do.
Books
and comics.
Books
Within comics. Books. And
this is the
comics.
segment of the show where we talk about books or comics. Some could be legends. Some could be brand spanking new. I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I should. I'm just going to mention something very quickly. Shadows of the Empire is a Legends novel. It was a fantastic book, actually. It took place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, for those of you that do not know. It was kind of used as a way for Lucas to gauge the popularity of Star Wars at the time to see if he could do the prequels. And it hit big. They made a video game, comic books. There was a soundtrack, and an actual soundtrack by the dude that did the Last Mohican soundtrack. Like, it was a real guy that John Williams kind of godfather did, like, helped him out with it. So it was a huge deal in 1996. I remember when this came out, there were toys, like action figures galore. You have some, right?
Oh yeah, I gotta get them out for.
Yeah, it was this huge thing. Anyway, it's a great book. If you have not read it, read it. There's some great characters. Prince Zizor, Dash Rendar, who is Han Solo, and I think that's one of the reasons. It's kind of interesting to me that I said interesting. Sorry, Aaron. She doesn't want to say it too much.
What, interesting?
Yeah. But the thing is this was such a popular book, and it's actually a pretty good book. I've been reading it recently. I'm going to recommend reading it. It's got some ups and downs, obviously, but if you compare it to a lot of the new canon stuff, it's actually very fantastic. And it's confusing that they would not make. I mean, I think they want to tell their own story in this time frame because they know this is a very popular time frame. Yeah. It's one that they can exploit greatly. But when they made the Clone Wars canon and you didn't make this canon, it's confusing to me because this is actually it's a fun read. It's very fun. Lando does a lot in this.
Yeah, he does. That's
Dash renders, like, there are action sequences, and I'm not huge on reading action.
No.
But reading it in this is great. Anyway, next week we're gonna have a full four-panel discussion on Shadows of the Empire. Four panel.
I didn't agree to
Shadows of the Empire. The book. We have the game. There, that's the game. We're going to be playing it next week. So we're going to have a great show on that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. Brock, you take it away now.
Comics. Well, I've been really bad at keeping up with the comics because I just had no time to go to the comic store. So I'm like so behind. I mean, today, the next issue of both these books I'm about to show came out, so I'm going to be behind them. But these are great. First of all, let's use that first one. Poe Dameron, number 13. Number 10. Number 10 came out following. This should really be called, like, because I have Star Wars number 26 and Poe Dameron number 10. But really, it should just be called The Misadventures of C-3PO because they both they're both sort of revolving around a pretty C-3PO centric thing. One, C-3PO has been in Star Wars. He's been captured by the Scar Troopers. And now they're going to use him to try to get the rebellion back. And then in Poe Dameron, he's gone with Poe to... They're looking for Terex, I believe. And and he's got a... Oh, no, sorry. They're going to a place where Agent Terex is, but apparently there's a droid that will give them information about the First Order. And then they know this because C-3PO has a network of robot spies.
Yes, you've mentioned that.
It's fantastic. Before. To the point where it's confusing. I'm like, wait, how is this happening? But you have to remember, his arm is red in one of them. So that's how. Both great. Very good books. I'm very, like, Poe Dameron was really great. You got to see C-3PO be, like, kind of, not badass, but, like, so, like, oh, he could be kind of interesting as a character. And we saw a little bit more of what Agent Terex has done on this planet. I forget what it's called. But he established himself. So he's sort of like, he's going slowly crazy, which is kind of neat. And then in Star Wars issue 26, we go back to Obi-Wan's journal. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But, so it opens with C-3PO talking to the Scar Troopers. He's like, oh, the rebels are going to come for me. And then Vader's like, you guys failed, destroy the droid, and, maybe you should start getting your act together or you can be out of this empire. But then they decide to keep C-3PO, and they're like, where? So they're hatching some kind of plan. Meanwhile, R2 runs off from the Rebel Alliance with an X-Wing to try to go save C-3PO. And like Lucas started chasing him. He's like, "Where are you going?" And then he goes into hyperspace, and Luke's just sitting there in another X-Wing, and then he starts reading Obi-Wan's journal. This is interesting because it's not a story about Obi-Wan. It's a story about Yoda.
Oh.
And it's a really cool. You get to see him go to this planet by himself because they've captured. This planet is keeping this young alien or native for that planet because he has the Force. So Yoda goes to save him, and they told the Jedi, "Come with money and we'll let you have him." Blah 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 blah. It's like a corrupt planet like that. And then they all start laughing because Yoda comes to the door. But then it's like, he's like, "Well, I'm here to give you wisdom." And then 2 seconds, it goes to the black caption, and you just see everyone's out on the floor. And he brings, he goes outside, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are there with him, and they take the child back to presumably the Jedi Temple. But then Yoda goes on another mission. He ends up on a planet full of children. So the next issue is going to be about him and his adventures on the planet of children. And it's just like, this is great. I mean, I don't know. Maybe these stories aren't enough to be like a real thing, but like you could have a Obi-Wan centric book, no problem.
Do you think, book aside, do you think that they're doing so much with Obi-Wan right now in the comics that they're kind of taking away from what they could do in an Obi-Wan film? Because don't forget,
I guess
my problem is that the canon and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think they might be doing too much and they're just taking the stories away from what could be in a movie?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I as much as I would love to see what they've made with Obi-Wan into a movie, like if they don't, it is, the stories are very short. Mm-hmm. They kind of roll into each other, but like it's not a full story yet. So like I don't know if a Yoda movie would be great too, but like I don't know what like a young Yoda has always been thrown around. But this is awesome. I applaud Jason Aaron for what he does on this, and I applaud Charles Soule on Poe Dameron. I just like this is awesome. Like I've never been this excited about Star Wars comics. Dr. Aphra, on the other hand, and I'll talk about that next week. I have 2 issues with her, but then a week after we'll go back to this, so we'll catch up. But also, I think James and I have been talking about doing separate videos for the comics, so I can go more into depth, and then you can also see what we're working on. So with some other videos as well.
Yeah,
and that's books and comics.
We got a lot going on in the year 2017. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah.
You know where was an exciting place in 1983?
St. Catherine's. Because my mom was pregnant with her first and only son.
Jabba's Palace. Jabba's Palace. Today's top 5, where we list our top 5 favorites. This week is top 5 creatures found in Jabba's Palace, excluding the late great Jabba the Hutt.
So when you say creatures, are you talking about just like the beasts that like were there, or just any alien?
Or
any walking biped?
Any walking thing. But you can't say Boosh or Jabba or Greedo.
Okay, so then nothing with a name that we know.
Well, yeah, I'm going with Bib Fortuna. But
I see.
I guess I could do Twi'leks. Twi'leks?
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, no, that's fine if they have a name. They all have names. So
that's true, because this is Star Wars, and what is Star Wars without a name?
Yeah.
So, okay, Brock, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Max Rebo Band. I know that's a bunch of people. If you want me to be more specific, Max Rebo. Because recently I realized when I looked at the Funko Pop of him, he's like ripped and wears really small shorts. I'm like, what? Because we don't notice that because he's just usually sitting by. But when I saw that, I'm like, that doesn't look right. I thought he would be a fat little whatever that thing is. He's like an armadillo that's blue. That's it.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Yeah!
Mine was the band. But yeah, it's the same. I mean, I just watched the special edition of that. Was the only one I did not see in the theater because my grandmother passed away. My nonna passed away. So I did not get to see that one in theater. I saw the other 2, and that was. And then I remember when I got that on DVD, I was like, "What?"
Do you miss the old Return of the Jedi scene in that, or do you prefer the newer one? Because I would argue that's probably the best part of the special edition. Do you like that? Like, I mean, the singer was always there, but then they added the song and they added that other guy.
They added that. Yeah. The only thing with him is he looks so CG versus the other ones.
Yeah.
I do like they added those 3 singers too, right? The roadie and like the backup singers.
Yeah, I feel like they might have been there, but there was more to it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing with the special editions for me has always been, I've been okay with almost everything they've done.
Yeah.
Jabba looks wonky, but when that came out, everyone was like, Jabba's back! And then you saw it, and the initial reaction was he looks kind of weird, and they've tried to fix him up, and he never quite works in CG form, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's still awesome to have Jabba there. Why are we complaining? Who cares? Exactly. He's a puppet in the like, who cares?
Yeah.
He's Jabba. That's my feeling. So, yeah, the more he gave me, the only thing for me is the Yub Yub song I always liked. I wish they could have incorporated that. Yeah. Not even at the end, just like somewhere else in the movie, just for fun. Because Wicket says, Yup, yup. Yep. My number 4 is who's your number 4?
Number 4. I like. What are those aliens? What was the dude in Bloodlines that was called Leia Hutt Slayer? Niktos. Because that was the first time I think we see Niktos, and so there you see them on the barge quite a bit. I think they're in Jabba's palace.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't.
Keep going.
So yeah, I like those Niktos, and yeah, that's about it. I don't have a follow up. They just look cool, and they've taken them and made them huge in like Clone Wars and what have you. And then the books. You're number 4.
The Twi'leks, the Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. I just say Bib Fortuna. The Ula, the green Twi'lek that dies. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
I always like Bib Fortuna too. He's one of the way he looks is just cool to me. Like the albino Twi'lek.
Yeah.
So or Twi'lek. Do you know like
I love how like Twi'leks, like the males look weird and the women are like, ooh.
Yeah,
because they don't have that like bumpy forehead. Like
yeah, that's true.
And have you seen the thing that the Twi'lek in Rogue One in saw his band is Beezer Fortuna?
Yeah,
Fortuna's cousin.
Yeah, that's Star Wars. That's how it was. I like Bib Fortuna. I like when Luke comes in and forces him, and that's I use that on purpose.
Jabba no bad.
Anyway, number 3 for me is what the heck was his name? Hold on, let me pull this up. Malakili. Everyone's going to yell at me for not knowing that name. I'm so sorry. He's the Rancor owner. Okay. The Rancor owner.
Malachi? Because there's a story about him in Tales of Jabba's Palace.
Yeah,
which is also another good book.
It's a great book, but it's Legends.
Do you have that?
Legends.
No, I actually on this weekend, I went downtown and was looking in bookstores and trying to find a copy. I will find either like any of them, and then it hit me. I'm like, just go on Amazon, but I'm like, no, I will find them. So
chapters maybe. Yeah, I like when he comes in and he cries because he's this big burly guy and he just starts crying. And you're like, oh, this was somebody's like friend, like pet.
Yeah,
like that's I always liked that part as a kid. I mean, the reason we're doing top 5 Jabba is because I'm selfish and I love Jabba the Hutt and I love his palace.
Jabba.
So you're number 3.
I have the first 2. I can't decide if one of them should be 3 or 2 or should.
Well, I already did 3, so I can't even do it for you.
Let me think. I am going to go with Gamorrean guards. I feel like we've already said that. I think the top aliens.
Aliens and also.
But I'm gonna go Gamorrean guards because it still counts. They're awesome. Yeah. I read recently that they only basically have one outfit for most of their lives. Yeah. They don't change their clothes. Boom.
They dress like Fred Flintstone.
Do you think what they wear in Jabba's palace is what they wear at home, or is that something he made them wear? Like a uniform?
Oh. Well, I mean, if the thing you read was any indication, then that's what they wear at home because they only have one piece of clothing. But because that's probably not canon anymore, Jabba makes them wear that. Jabba no bada.
Jabba no bada.
What's your number 2?
Salacious Crumb.
Oh, whoa.
If I can put the Hutt himself, I will put Salacious Crumb. What are those things called? And they know they have a name. Salacious Crumb. Great.
He was going to be on my... He's not on my list because I didn't know the name of the species.
Whatever.
You could do it. I just didn't want to. You know what? He's fun. My number 2 is a Rancor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, number 2 is Rancor. I mean, they're kind of awesome. They don't really hang out at Jabba's palace, so you know what? I'm gonna go with Crumb or Rancor.
Yeah.
Because if you don't consider the bottom, the underbelly of Jabba's palace to be his palace, then I'll go with the annoying monkey.
Well, you know,
that's what they should have called the Skywalker monkey.
I rancored him higher. He's my number 1 Rancor.
My number 1's even better.
Go.
Gamorrean guards.
It was actually
I
should
love
have
the
known
Gamorrean
it.
guards.
I should have known it because like, how have you not said this yet?
Yeah, they're my favorite. Everyone that knows me knows I love my Gamorrean guards.
Yep.
Jabba is obviously my favorite in there, but the Gamorrean guards are my second favorite. They're like probably one of my favorite creatures in the whole Star Wars universe, and it saddens me that they don't exist anymore. But they're in Jabba's palace, and I think they're in a little bit of there are in a few Clone Wars episodes, but that's it. They never really show up, and it's kind of sad to me.
Yeah, like throw them in like a bar somewhere.
Yeah, they should. Well, Maz Kanata's bar, we both have the same feelings on. As awesome as it is, just through
just
do that.
one.
What's that guy? The
Just
salt
one.
guy? Just sprinkle in a little old school stuff.
We side Akbar. Terrell has this white shirt that kind of looks like that dude. So if we got sunglasses, we want to get Daryl to recreate that guy. His ribs look awesome, but that guy freaks me out. Like seriously.
Yeah. Where'd he come from? Like 2017 started. It's like this guy.
I don't know. He's some like cook. Yeah.
He's
You're weird, man.
he's weird, but his ribs do look good.
I like the way he cuts. Like I like how he does things. But then when they pan up to his face, I just want to like take some of the spice and go into his eyes.
Speaking
He's fine. He's wearing sunglasses.
And he was wearing sunglasses. So Rogue One was nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
I didn't even look.
I believe it was sound design and special effects. Thought we should mention this at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to everybody because that movie had fantastic special effects. I'm sure it will lose to some terrible movie that nobody saw.
Do you think if we were there for the awards, they would let us come up and be part of like people getting the award?
Yeah, I think.
So I feel like Rogue One's success is really based on our podcast.
We had like 100 people watch our review. So
100.
We do. But once again, thank you all for watching our videos and subscribing to our channel. It means a lot to us. Keep it going. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. But if you do not feel like giving us a thumbs down because you just don't want to, that's fine too. Because the more thumbs up, the better.
You mad, bro?
And the Mods Kanata is Snoke video. Give it the thumbs down it deserves. I think I spit on you. And you know what? I had fun cutting that one together. That is our friend Fatty Fan Theory's theory.
Andreas Garcia. That's not his real name.
No, it's not. But the hate that thing gets is...
yeah. No, I mean...
It's unbelievable to me, but...
You can hate our stuff as much as you want.
Yeah, just
tell
watch
us how crappy we are.
But opinions are opinions, and we want to have a conversation with you. So just share the love. Share it all. I don't have our Twitter stuff on here, so do you want to even give our Twitters away?
Yeah. At BFSmink. BFSMEENK. You already have it, so it's all whatever. But check me out, Instagram, Twitter. I use those things. Yep.
I tried to put it up, but I can't get it to work. I'm Petzafina, PEZZ or ZZ, AFINA on Twitter, Instagram, and the PS4 where I'm playing Battlefront, and my wife is kicking my butt constantly. She beat Master with Rob McDonald on Monday. It was Rob's birthday. Happy birthday, Rob. On Monday, he came over to play Battlefront with my wife, and I said, and then I started to play it, and I said, I can't, and I gave it to them, and they beat it. They beat Tatooine on Master, which I have never beat anything on Master because I am god awful at video games.
But can you cut a cake properly?
This is how I cut my cakes.
Friend of the show, Rob McDonald, cut a cake with the knife guard still
that's
on.
right.
Simply stunning.
It was quite the moment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a rebel scumbag with the two of us. Brock?
Yeah.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.